All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning, the first day of spring, and got another good book to turn you on to. Boy, this is when you read the description here, it's so contrary. Listen to this. At the novel's center, the novel, by the way, is titled Unspeakable Things. It's written by Kathleen Spivack, who's on the phone, and we'll be on with her in just a second. Anyway, here's what it says. Anna, known as the Rat, okay? Pay attention, the Rat, is an exotic Hungarian countess with the face of an angel. Now, why would you call somebody a rat if they have the face of an angel, right? Beautiful eyes and a seraphic smile. I think I know this lady. With passionate intelligence, exquisite ugliness, and the face of an angel. This is all coming together, right? My favorite part is the dachshund named Shotzi. I don't know if that's. I just like that part. Plus, it takes place in New York. Kathleen Spivack, an award-winning writer. She's been with us before. She taught in France on a Fulbright scholarship. Held a residency at the American Academy in Rome. Wow. Been nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. She's a contributor to The New Yorker, and her father is Peter Drucker, the famous management consultant. And her new book, Against Unspeakable Things, like being ugly and pretty at the same time and having a dog named Shotzi. And this takes place in the early 1940s. It's an era, for some reason, that I find romantic, even though I didn't live then. Maybe because that's when romance happened that made me.
That could be.
Maybe that's what happened. Kathleen, good morning, Kathleen. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Oh, and by the way, it's Kathleen Spivack or Spivack.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot.
And I think I've been on with you before.
Yeah, but I forget all the time.
That's okay.
You can mispronounce my name, and then I'll feel better.
Larry, I can say Larry.
Did you? Are you in New York right now?
I live in Boston, outside of Boston, actually.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for coming on the air again to talk to us about your book, Unspeakable Things. Yeah, the Anna seems contrary. Is she a contrary person?
Yes. Well, actually, I want to mention that the paperback edition of Unspeakable Things has just come out, which I just got. I bet you haven't got yet.
No, we didn't get it.
Right, it's en route.
I got a couple of pages to help me out with this interview. But
Well, that's fine, because I had to refresh my memory. But, yeah, the Rat is my central character. And she is, I hate to say, based on a real person.
Oh, really?
And the book is about refugees coming to New York during World War II and their lives. And Anna is this, beautiful ugliness with an incredible romantic life. And the title comes from her, actually, because the little girl shares her bed with Anna, or with whatever old lady comes out of Europe. And the Rat is obsessed with her past, and she keeps the little girl awake. She whispers obsessively over and over again, talks about her life. She had a romance with Rasputin, and every night she starts the same story, and she gets to a certain point, and then she says, then she can no longer talk about it to her little girl. So she says, and then we did, and there's a ... long silence, and she says, unspeakable things.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
And she goes right to sleep, of course, but the little girl is awake all night. What are these unspeakable things? So
you said it's based on a real person. Are you the little girl?
No. Well, I would say fictionalized. Well, yes and no. I mean, they wouldn't recognize themselves, I hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this a book that was wanting to be written? I don't know if you know. I guess you know what I mean. But inside of you, did you want to write this book for a long time, and finally did?
Well, probably not really, because my last book was about coming to Boston to study with Robert Lowell, the poet Robert Lowell, and meeting Elizabeth Bishop and Anne Sexton, Sylvia Plath, and so forth. That was my last book, which was with Robert Lowell at his circle. But I thought this one was going to be a short story. I've written books of poetry, books of short stories. It started as a short story, and then I got a Fulbright based on 5 pages, and I had time, and somehow this expanded. So.
Oh wow! So it was a surprise to you.
It was. It was like it was, and I kind of lived it for a while. It was a complete surprise.
Wow.
And in your circle of friends, musicians and writers and poets, you also write about the Tolstoy String Quartet and how the music they play sort of makes things better for people in the war-torn era.
Yeah, the music kind of binds the book together. And when I was writing it, every character had their own musical theme in my mind, and I used to put the music on, blast it. I was writing in France, blast it as loud as I could, and then right away for the character. So I have the the evil doctor professor, and he had his very discordant music, and Anna, I think she was Schubert, and the quartet, I would blast Mozart as loud as I could. I was sort of inspired by the music of it.
Are you, in your quiet times, when you're not pressured by anything and you have a chance maybe to have a cup of tea or something and just look out the window, do you, at this point in your life, do you more clearly than ever see the influence that not only your own background, but that your family's background has on your life?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even know how to answer that. It's a good question.
Well, I'm just looking at the little bit of your biography, and I'm wondering because we're so busy in our lives that sometimes it takes until we're older, to be quite honest, before we realize that things that we've been influenced by we didn't quite appreciate until later on.
Well, my grandfather was a writer, and my dad was a writer, and my mother wrote a memoir of her life. So I always knew I was going to be a writer, and they loved British literature particularly, and American literature. So I was kind of surrounded by it.
Why were they refugees? What were they running from?
Well, my dad had worked for the Frankfurt Times and came out against Hitler in 1933. So the paper was raided, and he was forced to leave, and he went to London. And my mother was working at the League of Nations in international law, and the handwriting was on the wall, so she went to London also, and that's where they re-met. They had met briefly in Frankfurt, but...
Wow. I wish we had more time to talk. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, Kathleen, to be with us this morning. The book is Unspeakable Things. The book sounds fascinating. Your life sounds fascinating. Maybe one day we can have you on for a half hour and kind of pick your brain about your life. And thank you for coming back on the air with us again. I'm guessing the book is wherever books are sold. Am I right?
Yes, in your independent bookstores, your chains, Amazon, and online wherever they are selling books. Yes.
Kathleen Spivack. I said your name correct, Spivack?
You did. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kathleen. I love the interview. We will be right back.
Today in Florida Ag News, I'm a Southeast AgNet. Well, conservation partners in Florida, like private industry, non-government organizations, Indian tribes, state and local governments, water districts, and universities, are being reminded to have just a few weeks left to submit pre-proposals for fiscal year 2018 funding through the Regional Conservation Partnership Program. Pre-proposals for RCPP are due April 21st.